My mom used to have this rule: no more than 15 minutes of playing on the PC during regular work days. It sucked, but those were the rules. Now, my brother and I saw how everyone played things like Ratchet & Clank or Pokemon Leaf Green. And while that was great and all, I was obsessed with this game called Rayman 2: The Great Escape. I can't remember the first time that I actually saw Rayman or found out about him, but to me, he's always been there. And because of my mom's rule, usually I could not finish a level. Levels like the Cave of Bad Dreams or the Precipice are usually considered the harder parts of the game. They're easy now, but 7-year-old David had a real hard time beating those levels in 15 minutes, and then we had to quit. But it was no big deal, since I loved the game so much that I would gladly replay the same level the next day. It's 2012. I just got home from school. Mom says, homework first. I guess school's not that hard. So I quickly write some bullshit answers on my history assignment. The teacher never bothered to check what I actually wrote, only that something was actually written on all the questions. So homework took 10 minutes. Now what? Well, time for some Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Damn, this shit was awesome. Blasting away with the AN-94, the MSMC, and who can forget legendary weapons like the busted Fall OSW, the M27 or the Hammer. Oh my god, this shit was awesome. I spent almost every Friday night with the boys playing Transit. It was great. I lived with my parents and I had this mini oven in my room. I bought it for 12 euros. It was a great deal. Each week we would bake snacks in that thing while trying to build the wonder weapon on repeat every single game. And then gun game. Mother freaking gun game. It was a delight. I would rarely play normal, however. I would try to win with 0 deaths, or try to win by making an extremely stupid final kill count, which was obviously staged by me and my cousin. Think about double XP weekends. We would play all weekend to grind levels, hit prestige, and do it all over again. Man, all those memories are great. And then I grew up. Things changed. School became harder and a lot more work. I got responsibilities, and even later, I got a job. So fast forward years later, and although I'm a teacher now, I'm still playing video games. However, a lot less. I got a bit older, and although I did like playing video games, there are returning patterns in each and every one of them. Battle passes, season passes, black cell, blah blah blah. Most common AAA games have a store. And I came to realize that gaming is an expensive hobby. Don't get me wrong, I will never be the one that buys cosmetic items in a store. To me, that's just a waste of money. However, the game itself is very expensive. My rent is so high that I cannot afford myself to buy several games each month. And even if I could, there are not much games that I feel like are even worth my money. I've seen most things: Battle Royale, horror games, Call of Duty 507, every open world game ever. Usually, the barrier of entry was just too high. Games are too expensive or will take too much of my time that I rarely have. I maybe have a couple of hours to play each week, but not more than that. And yes, of course, I totally got invested in Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, and War. And I loved it. But my interest slowly faded. I couldn't seem to get myself into this massive open world and really immerse myself. It sucked. Have I changed? Why can't I seem to get the same excitement as I got when playing those Rayman 2 levels? Or when I grinded the double XP Black Ops 2 weekends? So my answer, I tried speedrunning. Redoing Rayman 3 until I got better. It was really rewarding to see me improving in the game that I've played since I can remember. But not only that, I started this YouTube channel. I do weird runs in games that I already own and I'm already invested in them. This way it doesn't cost extra money. And I can get a totally different experiences on the games that I already own, know, and sometimes master. Now that's an entirely different video, but this hobby usually gets frustrating over time. For example, I tried to beat the highest score in a Rayman 3 run. It was fun for a while, but I got totally and utterly burned out because I would spend months at the same part in the Land of the Living Dead because I know how the combo works, but I couldn't seem to get it to work. And spending months there redoing the same part over and over and over again, it wasn't fun anymore. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't touched Rayman 3 in a really long time now. I could do another run, I mean, it's Rayman, but it's not the same as before. And is this what gaming for me is nowadays? Am I not that little kid anymore that got excited for my 15 minutes of playing on the PC? And then there was this one night. A random night in which I looked through my digital PS5 gaming library to look for things to play. Now what to play? Some are long, some are not my cup of tea, some I've already beaten long ago. And then I saw this one game. A game that on the surface doesn't look like a perfect fit. But I'm bored and I have 2 friends who think this game is awesome. I already own it. I guess it came free with PlayStation Network once or something? Fine, what could it hurt? I made a promise to myself. I may not quit this game before 3 hours of game time. Give it time, maybe it'll grow on you. And little did I know, that night changed everything. Enter Hollow Knight. Okay, so I play as this guy? Who am I? It's not really clear, but the gameplay feels great. So I enter the Forgotten Crossroads and I have no idea what to do or where to go. Time to explore, I guess. I'm a total noob and I actually don't like the fact that I have no map. But it wouldn't take long before I hear the and I can actually buy a map of the place. And when I get deeper into the crossroads, I die. But that means that I have to go all the way back to the beginning. And my money is gone. I have to find my shade to get my money back. But that road isn't without dangers. I really get scared at times because I can replenish masks, but only gain soul by attacking enemies, which can lead to another death. So after some time, I find a boss battle, which takes me, I believe, about 10 tries to beat. This game gives me a sense of excitement, but also frustration because when I die, I've got a lot of traveling to do to get to this part again. Now, the 3 hours have passed and I think that I've beaten most of the game. Great indie game, not that complex, not that big. But what is this? This road leads me to... oh my god, Green Path. There is a second world. A totally new area to explore. I can start all over again. But unlike those Rayman 2 levels, this time I actually get to play new content. So I keep on exploring. And I got hooked. I found a stag station, which basically lets me travel back to the crossroads. Although very tough at my beginner level, I beat Hornet after God knows how many tries. And what is this? I get an upgrade. Oh my, I can dash now. But that also means that there are a few roads in the Forgotten Crossroads that I can now visit. I enter Fog Canyon, but I can't seem to get the map. Frustrating. I get to Queen Station and move further to an actual 3rd level. How big is this game? Long and wide, I scroll through the fungal ways where I notice that there are new enemies again. So far, no world has been the same. I believe we're at hour 8 at this point. And I encountered this, the Mantis Lords. And oh my, this was a pain. See, the gameplay you're watching now is my second playthrough, so everything seems a lot smoother than it actually was at the time. I got stuck on this part for about 3 hours. And every time I would die, I would run all the way back through the entire fungal wastes again to get to this point. But after 2 hours, I found out that I had actually missed a bench. So I did a lot of traveling for nothing basically. But what I also noticed is that I got better and better. Where on hour 1 defeating the first one seemed not possible, on hour 3 there had been attempts where I actually did a lot of damage to the last two. And in the end, I beat them. It felt so rewarding. And I was rewarded with even a fourth world, Deep Nest. Actually it's the fifth, Fog Canyon, but I can't seem to get a map for that, so let's say the fourth one. And at this point, with the game being as hard as it is, I know that I'm nearing the end of the game. So I would spend the next couple of hours running away from these large beasts while wondering what this game is actually about. I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. It plays great, and currently that's all that matters to me. However, Deep Nest doesn't seem to get me somewhere. I am at hour 18 or 20 and I enter another world, the City of Tears. And I can't believe what I'm seeing. This has to be the final level of the game, I think to myself. So as per usual, I send my cousin Nils a text, saying that I found the City of Tears. His reaction? Yep, it's like the main hub of the game. At this point, I look at my phone with my jaw dropped. What kind of game is this? I'm not even halfway? And usually, this would bug me, because I can't seem to find the time and interest to play a game for what I believe is going to be at least 50 hours. But I am invested at this point, and I keep on playing. I find the super dash, great charms, extra masks, the double jump, and this game just keeps on giving. It really is the perfect game. But why? Why did I get so invested in this? Sure, like I said, it feels great. And of course, that's a big factor, but I believe it comes from the fact that the game looks amazing, you can smash almost anything, there's a high risk, high reward, some gameplay features are actually great, there's excellent platforming, but the biggest factor should come from the fact that I didn't know anything beforehand. I got surprise after surprise. It was really the perfect balance between difficult, engaging, and different between worlds and boss fights. I never knew that the Metroidvania genre would be for me, but here I was, defeating the Radiants after 63 hours of gameplay. But my feelings were not over. I talked to my friends and my colleagues about Hollow Knight, full of love. I even shared this story with one of my students. My brother, who would never have even considered to buy this game, actually tried to get it. I got to him. And then I would think back at the excitement of the same levels in Rayman 2. The surprise that I found something that I loved every detail of. The fact that every match of Black Ops 2 was different. The fun I had while building that damn wonder weapon on transit and breaking it after 5 seconds of shooting. I miss that, man. Games are rarely new experiences for me. I know what to expect by watching trailers, gameplay, Twitch streams, and by playing the same games over and over again. Things aren't new anymore. A lot of mechanics are reused in different games. And that is also why Middle-earth: Shadow of War was also such a great game to me. It did something new, and although we may never see that Nemesis system again, I couldn't believe my enjoyment at the time. So I did something that honestly I should have done a long time ago. I got the PlayStation version of Game Pass. And to be clear, I really don't support a system that treats customers badly. It basically gives you permission to play games but never own them. But at least this way, I got into even more new games. Especially indie titles interest me. I played some of Ubisoft The Settlers, but that really wasn't my cup of tea. I played hours of Celeste, and although it was not as great as Hollow Knight, certainly a good game with great elements for a platform game that I've never seen before. But what also got me hooked was the game Blueprints, which got me thinking about the board game Betrayal at the House on the Hill. But this game makes a puzzle game of similar mechanics. You basically open a door and you can decide for yourself which room will be drawn behind that door. The objective is to get to the secret room 46. Now at the time, I had no idea how, but that was the fun. The surprises. I know it sounds cliche, but it's really the journey and not the destination. For example, I would sit on my couch with notes all over the couch. I basically mapped every room and wrote down details that I could find. And in the end, I solved puzzles, I solved sketches, I solved, well, not everything, but I got to room 46. And I was so proud. So the next time I encounter something new in a game, I hold on to that dearly. Games are meant to carry you away from the real world and immerse you into a new world, a good story, or great gameplay experience. Does this mean that I won't look into good Silksong speedrun tricks after my first run when that game releases? Of course I will. It's a variation that makes it fun. For some, that may be the dopamine of every single COD release, even after all these years, or doing a solo run in Pokemon. Or maybe you are the gamer that is the 100%er. Games are best when memories are made, if you improve or get surprised by them. So the next time you pick up a video game, let's just appreciate the new things that they do. Not every game is GTA 6, and it doesn't have to be. This was an obscure video game story, so until next time I'd say, take care.